If you haven't made your first $1 million, then I want you to listen up, because this video is designed to save you a ton of time. I've had a lot of mentors over the years that have shown me how to make money in a number of different ways. And some of you might think I only make money in real estate, but the reality is I make money a number of different ways. So what I want to do is I'm going to talk about 3 different things in particular that you need to be doing if you want to take your life to the next level. Because if you're watching this, I'm assuming that you've got a job and you work for somebody else and you're watching this video thinking, man, I would love to make millions, but my job is probably not going to do that for me. So I need to find a new way. And I get it because I was in the exact same situation.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put up on the screen the notes, and I would take some notes on what I'm going to share with you right now. For those of you that don't know me, or if you're new to the channel, or if you're just recently subscribed, I have made millions and millions and millions of dollars as a business owner in real estate investment. And I'm going to share with you the game plan that helped me become financially free from the age of 23 to 26. Basically over 4.5 years, I did a handful of things that really helped me get out of the rat race. And I didn't want to get out of the rat race when I was 50 years old or 60 years old like most people. Most people, if they're following society's game plan, are not going to have enough money, but they're only going to realize it in their late 40s and 50s, and then it's kind of too late to do anything, because time is the one thing that is limited for all of us. So no matter what your age is, you've got to figure out how to use your time in the best and most appropriate way possible. 3 things that you want to know. Number 1, we're going to be addressing that job. What is the purpose of your job? Number 2, I'm going to be talking about RE, which stands for real estate. And then number 3, I'm going to be talking about business. You have a goal and an objective with all 3 of these things. And I'm going to assume for today's video that if you haven't made your first millions, that you probably are lacking money or lacking assets, or you don't feel like you're getting ahead fast enough. And if that's you, here's what you need to do. Number 1, the first thing you need to do is you got to get your job under control and not let your job control you. And what I mean by that is most of us get the best paying job we can out there, and then when we get paid, guess what we do with the money? We spend it. And most of us will spend almost all the money that we make. So there's very little left over. Even if some of that money is going in a 401k or IRA, those investments aren't paying you anything. So there's not really money left over at the bank at the end of the day to do some of the things that you want or to build your investments the way that you want. So first thing you have to do is you have to learn how to PYF, which is pay yourself first. Your goal in the beginning is to find a way to pay yourself 20% and save 20% of the money that you're actually making. Now, what I mean by that 20% is if I get a paycheck for $1,000 before I pay out bills or go on a date or spend my money or put it away, $200 of the $1,000, $200 are getting paid to me. No, it is not for bills. It's basically saying I'm the most important bill of all because I use all of my brain power and my time to do this, and it's not for the mortgage, and it's not for paying for my cell phone or my gadgets or my car payment. It's because I have to pay myself if I want to get ahead. So I can invest in me, I can invest in other things. In the beginning, some of you are going to say, but Kris, dude, I can't pay myself 20% right now. I couldn't pay myself 10%. I don't care if it's 5%. You have to do something right now to start this game of saving money. Challenge yourself, set 5 aside, and I promise you, you're going to say, Kris, I don't have the money to do it, but I promise you this, you'll find a way. You're going to reorganize your finances, and you're going to find a way to save that 5%. When you can save 5, the next thing you do is you push it to 10, from 10 to 15, from 15 to 20. Ultimately, your real number is you want to get to the point where you're saving at least 40% of this money. Grant Cardone says something I really like. He says that if the government is your biggest expense, if you get into a 40% tax bracket, then make sure you at least pay yourself that, if not more money than to the government, because you should be the biggest expense in your entire life in business. So start wherever you need to, but you have to have a goal and a game plan to push that number up to here. Why? Because this, my friend, you're trading all of your time for money, and this is where you start collecting some money. Now the question is, what do I do with this money? There are 2 things I want you to do with the money. First thing I want you to do is you have to get in the game of real estate. Now, why do I want you to get in the game of real estate? Because statistically, the best return on an investment you'll get in your entire life is your own home. Because you know that real estate does this. Like, look at any graph, Google it right now, and you're gonna see that whether you start at 1900, 1920, 1950, 1980, 2000, 2015, real estate only goes up. Now, it does it inconsistently, but over the life haul, people will buy a home, and then they're going to live in it, and they're gonna make their payments, and guess what? When they're calculating their net worth at retirement, guess where they have almost most of their money socked away? It's not a 401k. It's not an IRA. It's not the stock market. It's their freaking house. So you got to get into a house. Now, if you're starting out young and poor like I did before I became financially free, then what real estate's going to mean is a PR. Write it down. That means primary residence. This is a 3% down payment. Now, by the way, if I have homes in my area, I can buy a starter home for $200,000. Then what's 3% of $200,000? It's $6,000. If it is a $150,000 house, it's $4,500. So you can get a house and roll all the closing costs in and just have that 3% down payment. So how much money do you really need to save from your job if at first you're saving 5 and then 10 and 15 and then 20 and ultimately 40%? Guys, we're talking about less than $10,000 to get yourself in a house. Now you are going to need 2 years of work history. You're going to need to make sure you develop your credit, have 3 credit cards, keep your nose clean, keep them paid off, but get yourself into a primary residence. Why? Because this is the best investment people will have in their entire life. Get started on it soon. I bought my first house when I was 23 years old. I now have followers all over the world, and some of them are buying their houses freaking teenagers. It lights me up, gets me pumped. Now, once you have bought real estate with 3% down, there's another kind of investment that I want you to buy in real estate, and this is what I call an investment property, and they require a 20% down payment. Now, if I buy a primary residence and I buy it smart and I get a discount on it and I hold it for a few years, guess what? I can fund my investment properties, because 20% down on a $200,000 house is $40,000. It's not $6,000. It's not $40,000. Like, dude, Kris, I don't have $40,000 in the bank. I know. That's why you pay yourself first, and you're setting 5, then 10, then 15, ultimately 20 and 40%. You want to get to the point where it's like, hey, I made $4,000 this month, or I made $10,000 this month, but I'm saving 20% of it, 30% of it, 40% of it. What am I doing with my money? I'm making the first smartest investment. By the way, what will be your biggest regret when you're 50 years old? You'll have bought a house 20, 30 years earlier. You're going to likely have $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 of equity and net worth in that home, and you'll say to yourself, man, if I could just go back in time, I would have bought another what's been working. Now, obviously, it's not for you to live in. It's an investment property, something you're going to rent out. You've got to get yourself in the game of real estate. By the way, for those of you that are like, Kris, I'm new to the channel. I haven't heard you talk about that much. You always have access to this book for free. I get them in gross volume. I give them away. This book has created millionaires. It's the first of several books that I've written. It's called The Strait Path to Real Estate Wealth. There's a link below. Click it. Get yourself a free copy. All I ask is that you cover the shipping. Otherwise, the book is entirely free. That'll show you how in 4.5 years I became financially free. And by the way, I became financially free doing this exact same game plan, and I had less than $5,000 that kicked that off. My first $1.6 million made with like $5,000. $5,000, are you kidding me? It's actually following this game plan. Now, the third thing that everyone needs to do, 87% of people hate their job. Some people love their job. Some are okay with it. Most, if they didn't have to work, and here's how you know it. You know, whatever your salary is, are you making $30,000 a year, are you making $300,000 a year? If that money was coming in automatically, would you show up at work the next day? For the majority of us, the answer is no, which is why an accelerated way to get out of your job is you got to get into business for yourself. I'll tell you why. Here, you work for somebody else. Here, you work for yourself. If your job pays you $50,000 a year. It's because your employer believes they can make $200,000 a year on you. They're always going for around a 400% ROI on your time. When you become a business owner, you can capitalize on that. This is not for the faint of heart. It's not always easy. You got to investigate and find the right business and make sure it's dumb, simple, stupid, easy. You find a side hustle. You got to get in business for yourself, but this is the mistake people will make. There's a choice here in business. You can either be an operator versus an owner. An operator says, I'm now in business for myself, and now I work 40 hours a week or 80 hours a week, running everything. Listen, you just have a job, but you probably have less security because you're the last one to pay yourself. You're going to make sure all your bills get paid. But if your goal is to become an owner, owners get rich. These guys get tired. An owner basically says, I'm gonna find a business model that doesn't require me. I'm gonna delegate. I'm going to bring in other smart, intelligent people into my life. I'm gonna let them run this thing and I'm gonna make the leftover. Dude, if you hang out with me on my channel, I even share videos and ideas, not just real estate, but businesses. Dude, I got one of my businesses that is stupid, produces 6 figures on the side, multiple 6 figures, and I work like an hour a month. That's called being a business owner. Ultimately, in my life right now, I have over a dozen businesses. So I have several streams of income. Plus I buy a house just about every freaking single day. Why do I do that? Because in the beginning, this amounted to nothing. Right now, if you're like living like most people, Parkin's Law says that we're spending what we make within plus or minus 5%, which means that you're thinking, well, Kris, I'm never gonna make $1 million. I'm telling you right now, develop the discipline. Set the money aside, save 10%, then learn how to save 15, then learn how to save 20, enforce it, rearrange, figure out how to, mix up your spending habits. And ultimately, when you save a little bit, you can dump it into real estate, which will be your smartest investment you ever make. But if you're smart, you'll come back and say, time machine, I don't want one house, I want 10 houses. Or if you're like me, you get greedy and you're like, how about thousands of these homes? Then you got to get yourself into business ownership versus operatorship. These 3 things, compounded with time, have the ability to help you make several $1 million, and it doesn't have to take decades. Right now with technology, with knowledge, with YouTube University, it's never been so easy, it's never been so fast. Bring a little bit of hustle, bring some smarts to the game, start following this advice, and I'm telling you right now, you can set yourself up for a fantastic life. I buy a house just about every single day because of everything that I share here in this book. Creating wealth has never been easier. If you're not rich, it's because you either haven't applied yourself, you don't have the right mentors giving you this information. You should subscribe to this channel and other channels with people that you respect that are financial geniuses. But most importantly, execution is everything. Thank you, Tony Robbins. Execution means you got to act on this stuff. So how can you start doing this right now? How can you then do this? How can you do that? All I know is that if you can do these 3 things, this is what will set you apart from the masses. So listen, free book. Link is in the description below. More importantly, I've got a video coming right up showing you exactly in this arena what I did to create all that wealth in 4.5 years. So enjoy the video, and I'll see you tomorrow.